Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ponder All podcast. I am Luis Garcia, and today we are supposed to be joined by a guest who I believe is running late. I will not mention their names because I don't want to embarrass them in case there was some kind of mix-up in communication, which happens from time to time. Probably my fault. It's been a very long week. Anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know that I plan on podcasting weekly on the Ponder All side, also on the TV Time Machine side as well. The TV Time Machine Twitter account has just been banned or disabled, just got shut down. I think I've been retweeting some pretty opinionated political tweets via that. And of course, Twitter being run by the reptilian overlords went ahead and disabled the TV Time Machine account. But I do have the Pondercast and Aspiring Luis, so you can please follow me there. But I guess we'll give our guest a few more minutes in order to sign in. I was hoping to have an interview with him, but if not, oh well, you are stuck with me. How are things going? It is currently March 24th, 2022. We are in the middle of watching Russia attack Ukraine. What else is going on in the world? Katani Brown Jackson had her confirmation hearings this week, and we got to see several small-dicked, white, toxic, masculinity-filled old men be openly racist and rude to her, showing tons of misogyny. Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, John Kennedy. It was really disgusting. And I kept thinking, God, do these guys, how old and ugly do these guys have to be? You don't find one of those older gentlemen to be attractive or young. They all seem to have one foot in the grave. No wonder they're so miserable with having a beautiful person of color, Black woman of power, about to take the bench as a Supreme Court judge. So we will see how that all pans out. I've been trying to keep up with my movie reviews and TV reviews. Last week I saw the new Ty West. Oh, it looks like our guest is here. So let's go ahead and admit.
Hey, check.
Hey, how's it going there, Simon? How are you?
It's good. Running a bit. Am I running behind? No, there was some. I don't know, for some reason my phone attached a Google Meet invite to this, and so I was in there for 10 minutes.
No worries.
That was the thing.
You are totally fine. But I always do a little introduction before, so you're good.
Okay.
How's your day?
The tripod. Okay.
Do your thing.
Ooh. Are we good? Are we good with the? Okay. All right. Hopefully it's not pausing internet wise. All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you
right.
hear and see me in the orientation that you would like to hear and see me?
I can see you just fine, and I can hear you just fine. This is mostly audio. The podcast.
Okay.
I have a YouTube for it, so people.
You don't have a YouTube for it, or you do have a YouTube?
I do have a YouTube for it, but people forgive video quality all the time, so we're good. As long as they can hear you, we're good to go.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ponder All podcast. Today, I have a special guest. Now, Simon, I didn't want to assume that I could say your last name. I just wanted to call you by your online persona, Calm Simon, because I like that a lot. But is it Simon Jackson? Is that your full name?
Yeah, Simon Jackson is perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much for, first of all, giving me the time of day. I know it's been an insane couple weeks for you, to say the least. How's everything going for you? What have you been up to today and this week? What's the latest update?
Yeah, the latest update is I have some sewing. I just got some new sewing machines. I just got done with a sewing instruction with my sewing mentor. As you know, I have a romper business. I'm wearing one of them right now. But yeah, I just got out of a little sewing lesson with her, and now I'm in a little cafe that I found that's really cute, and eating some banana bread. So life is good today. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a banana bread. I haven't had that in a while. I'm watching my diet these days, and I'm on that WW point system, and you'd be surprised what you can get away with and what you can't get away with on that. Like certain things have more points than others, and I'm always shocked at how much I can eat of one thing and definitely not eat of another, or shouldn't. So learning a lot of.
Hopefully, I was gonna say, hopefully there's not too much background noise. There's cars, there's trains, buses.
We're fine. We like the ambiance.
It's real. It's real life out here. It's real life.
Yeah, the ambiance is fun.
But Jesus. Well, I will say, in the midst of all the craziness, because I did listen to a podcast today with Gary Vee, Andrew Schultz, those guys, and Gary Vee was talking in there, and he reminded me of something important. It's like, even through everything, you just make sure, like, it's easy to focus on stuff that you don't have and where you want to be, and it's hard to actually have gratitude for the things that you do have. And so it's one of the reasons I'm in this cafe right now, eating some banana bread and trying at this Italian soda. First time trying it. It's like, it's got mango syrup and like two other things.
Yeah, my
It's
son
got mango syrup, seltzer, cream, and it's amazing. It's fun. So it just, these are like little things.
Yes.
Cost me like $15, but it's like, yeah, sure, I'm not a billionaire. I haven't sold like 100 rompers and shit, but like, I can have an Italian ice and eat some banana bread, and life's good.
Yeah, life is good. And I've been checking, obviously checking you out since I reached out, and the rompers, those are styling. I remember when rompers, it seems like 3 summers ago, when they first came back on the map, and a lot of my friends were, teasing each other about who would wear them first in my community. And sure enough, some of my boys were able to pull it off better than others. But we did that too. We did that too. And I remember when I first saw them, and the issue was that the other part is that when they came out, they weren't, I don't think they were stylish. And maybe still, even some people think they aren't now, but you couldn't see yourself in it. That was the thing. Like, if you just say the words to a guy, "Hey, do you want to wear a romper?" They're gonna think of a woman's garments. It's the first thing you're gonna think of. It's like something that's, it's a dress that's shorts instead of a dress, and it's something for girls. And I think for me, getting in one and actually seeing myself, oh shit, I look good as hell, and then actually making them like for people. It's not really going to be something for everyone, to be honest. It's not an inclusive garment. It's not. It's for people. Yeah, it's just not. I'll leave it at that. Yeah,
but
yeah, that's fine.
For people that can fit the garment, it can look really good for guys and for girls. So for me, when I saw it, and then when I figured it out, and I figured out what it was for, and how fun it could be especially when you go out to the club in it. I went to Vegas I had a ducky one, and then I had the eggplant one that's everyone's seen on my social media. Those two in Vegas, dude. I mean, first of all, I tear it up normally in Vegas, but with those, I was an animal. I was famous before I was even famous. I'm still not famous, by the way, but I was famous before I was famous. So much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. The eggplant one, especially, definitely a style. And so about the fame thing, how are you handling all this attention? I mean, as most of the people that know my podcast, I mean, I have 2 podcasts. This is the one that's more conversational, and I was able to land some pretty decent guests that are well known, like yourself. But how have you been handling the last couple of weeks of like TikTok attention. I saw all the journalists that on just in researching on Google, because I wanted to find the article from what's her name. I wanted to find the article from Mackenzie Lynn Tozan, because that one seemed to have the best.
Is that the name of a? Is that the name of a journalist, or what? Is that the name of a?
She wrote Comic Sans.
Okay, that was one of the first ones.
Yeah,
that was one of the first articles. Yeah,
and
yeah. No, I would say nothing's really. I don't know. Nothing's changed. And nothing's changed. Right. So that's the funny part about it. It's like nothing's changed. Sure, like I don't have my TikTok notifications on. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even know it was blowing up until I just entered the app. And I don't know, I keep it that way. I do see everything that comes through Instagram, but again, nothing's changed in general. Like I don't have more money or less money.
Right.
I have one less job.
Right.
But nothing's changed as far as like the way I get treated or even the amount of comments I get on the internet, you know, because I've been wearing rompers for, I guess, a couple years now. And I guess, yeah, it's now I just have more followers on a couple platforms.
Yeah.
It's random. Yeah, I wish it was a cool, it's not as cool of a story. And everyone's like, dude, you're TikTok famous, you know, you're this. And then I'm like, dude, you know, you could be on every news channel in the country, which I guess I am at this point, because my grandparents just messaged me and they were like, I didn't call them. I didn't tell them anything. And right. They just messaged me and we just saw you on the news in Pennsylvania. And I was like, on the local regional news in Pennsylvania. And that's when I was like, oh shit, well, fucking every company, every single human at this point is knows, you know, has seen my face or has seen the story, man lives in cubicle. But yeah, I'm not richer, I'm not poorer. So I'm just, at this point, I'm trying to, you know, back to the original thing, I'm, you know, trying to focus on, you know, what do I want to do now? You know, the audience, I mean, even though I've had like 1 million people go to my website, I've still only sold like, we're probably up to like 30 or 40 rompers, you know, it's not crazy. Because I guess, again, male rompers aren't in the cultural conversation at this point. Not yet. We'll bring them there, maybe. We'll bring them there, but it's not there yet. So yeah, being famous or being fake, I call it fake famous, and I still call it being fake famous. Right. I've always been fake famous. I've been fake famous since I first went to Russia, and you're walking around the street, and random people want to come take pictures with you just because you're extroverted and decent-looking black guy. Yeah, I've been fake famous for years, so this is no different. I have been recognized a few times in Seattle, which is fun, but it's no different than any other time I've been fake famous. So,
well, the good news is, you know, summer's coming up, so hopefully those romper sales will pick up. The more the word gets out. Summers, people have been cooped up, you know, again for most of the year, wanting to get out. So hopefully the romper sales will go up. Definitely. That's what I'm hoping for you.
I think the romper sales, I think I'm pivoting. I'll always do rompers. I love them. And I will, you know, I'm going to go back into making them myself just for people, for individual orders. Cause it's just, I'm not at the place where I can have a supplier. I shouldn't be ordering them from a supplier. I should just be making all of them myself. So I'm going back into that. That's why I'm over here like, okay, I need to learn more techniques because I need to get better and faster. Right. So, but I think in general, I'm pivoting probably over towards something, you know, I've been doing dance fitness on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and then I do travel vlogs. So I was going to pivot to something. We talked about it a little bit in the email before in the limited, you know, conversation we had, but, you know, pivot over to something like Patreon and put some of the dance fitness stuff, like some of the more specific, okay, you want to learn how to do this slowly, you know, you want me to break it down. Okay, that's behind the paywall and it's, you're supporting me or something, or just, yeah.
Put
a podcast behind it. stuff like that. I wanted to pivot kind of a little bit over to that to get some consistency because
Right.
the Rompers, yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you definitely tapped into something. I was thinking about exactly why people garnish the attention that you did. You had mentioned that, being an introvert definitely helped. But what I think is like, people were calling this a movement at some point during this excursion when you had first moved into the cubicle. What fascinated me the most about this was I actually wrote a story about a guy that lived at work for completely different reasons. There was no pandemic story, but kind of like the stance against the social norm, I guess, is what people really liked and related to. Yeah, just kind of doing things a little differently and non-conformance, I believe, is what people really identified with. And I think we, especially in this last 2 years, everything has kind of changed, but kind of stayed the same. So people are looking for someone to identify with that's going to kind of say F you to the norm and do their own thing. So there's
I think that because there was definitely two pieces. I think the biggest thing from the people because there was definitely a lot of people watching just to see a train wreck. and that was the biggest thing, and I think that was the majority. And I realized that almost immediately. I was like, because when I rewatched the video, I was like, oh, like this is such viral material because everyone's like, this is gonna blow up fast.
right.
This is gonna blow up in his face fast. So I think that was one big thing. But I think why people stayed, I think there's two reasons. I think they admired the fact that they admired my positivity and my attitude about everything during all the situation when it was like, while it was going on, but then even when I started doing lives and really interacting with people, my positivity in the middle of like, you're going to be, you're probably going to lose your job in like 3 days, but you're still laughing, smiling, dancing, doing all this stuff, and you don't care, you don't care at all. And my positivity and my belief in myself about like how things are going to work out in the end, and
Right.
I'm just going to be fine, So people, the more I showed, hey, and it's all real, the more I was like, yeah, like guys, I'm going to be fine. And even if I'm not fine, I'm going to be fine because I can go do anything I want in the world. If I have to go work at a Sam's Club, I will. And a lot of the messages I got from people were like, shoot. And even actually just yesterday, I had a guy reach out to me. It's a crazy thing. He reached out to me in the morning and was like, dude, I saw your story. I work at that same company. It's so inspirational. I worked there for 2.5 years and they've never given me more than a 2% raise. I'm thinking of, but your story gives me hope. I'm standing with you. And I was like, dude, start looking for a new job because like I don't think they're gonna start change. Right. He messaged me back, dude. I'm having a meeting with my manager today. I might quit. I might leave. I might walk out today. And I was like, dude, Godspeed.
Yeah.
Next email, I quit. I was like, this is from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. trajectory of, interaction, from one thing to the other. But to me, what that kind of, I think a lot of people get stuck in a situation, and it's not because they don't even have options. It's not because of anything. It's just because, it's just like they're stuck for whatever reason, just mentally. They're just like, and they just need that little, like, maybe it's like a fear of what's on the other end of whatever whatever thing they're going through.
Yeah.
And seeing my story for a lot of people was like, fuck it. Like whatever's on the other end of this, I'm just going to attack it. I'm just going to do it. And that was, I don't know. When I saw that guy's story, I was like, damn, if nothing else happened in all of this, I'm happy that I at least empowered the one guy to like take that big leap and just like get that raise, go get that, stop being treated bad by this. It's not about the company. It's about in the end, because in the end, the companies are going to do what the companies are going to do. We're not going to change the individual companies, but you are in charge of you are in charge of your own life. And the fact that if I can empower just that one guy to take that extra opportunity and start to actually interview and, you know, become a better person, I'm like, the protest was already the protest saving money thing was a success already. Right. Now I would just like a couple more dollars personally.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's what it was, and that's why people are still following. And you know, there's probably like 200 people that join each live thing that I do.
Yeah, I was watching your live. I caught the tail end of your live the other day. It was about someone asked you if about dating or something, and you got back to basics with them, and you were like, of course people date based on looks, of course people date based on physical
attraction. Found that one. Yeah.
And I love that because it just brought back the simplicity of life in general. And this whole experience too has brought back the simplicity of what you were just saying of we are in charge of a lot of our own fate. We can control a lot, but at the same time, we're all human, and we tend to forget that we're human, right? And we tend to put all these extra variables and attributes into why we make decisions when it can just be, hey, I think this person is attractive, or I don't think this person is attractive. Why do we make things so difficult on ourselves at the end of the day?
I think in a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of societal pressure, especially now with these different movements that have come up where you're not allowed to have certain opinions. Like if you're going to, like I was swiping through Bumble on that on that live, which is like, you know, very cancelable. It's a very cancelable activity because like, you know, you didn't swipe right on this black girl. What are you doing? You hate black women. You didn't swipe right on this girl. You don't like bigger girls. You know, and it's like a whole thing. But I think that kind of exposed to me when I was seeing some of those comments, you know, people are getting offended at me, at my preference in, you know, looks or something. And I'm like, first of all, I don't even date at this point, which maybe we can go into that a little bit, but
yeah,
I don't even date at this point, but this is just so this is just an exercise in finding maybe some models for the romper business,
right?
Finding somebody that has the look and then has a personality, which is like a couple things, you know, because again, rompers are not a very inclusive garment, and it can't be if it won't look good. I mean, we can make it inclusive, but maybe it won't look as good. And we'll try. I will be doing my best. I will be trying. But it obviously will look better on a certain body type.
Of course.
But yeah, it just exposed this whole thing where like somebody's like, dude, you're so into yourself. You're this, you're that. They're like insulting me because of my tastes, and I'm like, dude, like this person has it exposed this part of where it's like you're not allowed to have certain opinions. You're not allowed to show you have preferences in society today. And
I think social justice warriors are.
It's that, but it's bigger because that's like a lefty term but it's both sides. I mean, you have one side that's like, you can't talk about, you know, you can't do race, you can't do sexual orientation, you can't do gender. And then you have the other side that's pressuring, like, you shouldn't even be on the dating apps. You should, you know, it's judging from a whole different perspective, whole different direction. They would probably say that my clothes aren't masculine enough and that I'm destroying the culture by putting out clothes to men that aren't the standard suit nonsense that they want to push. So it's like, no matter what side, like you have social justice warriors, but then you have, you know, the opposite, which are like saying that I watched you can go back and find a Tucker Carlson interview where a lady comes on the TV and she was like, I don't get offended that often, Tucker, but I saw something today. It was that, and I've never been so offended in my life. And it was the men's romper. And I was like, lady, there are wars in the Middle East right now, and you are the most offended about men's rompers.
Yeah,
that is insane to me.
Prioritize your viewpoints and feelings for sure.
and I know she's being what's the word, hyperbolic or whatever, but it's like, really? So it's everything. There's a pressure from all sides of the culture to be a certain person, to look a certain way, and yeah, it's up to, yeah, you got to do your own thing.
For sure. How long have you been in Seattle? Where are you from originally?
I've been here for I moved into an apartment in May, but I've really lived in Seattle for probably 6 months max.
Mhm.
I'm from West Virginia. Yeah, the Morgantown, West Virginia, where West Virginia University is.
I'm originally from New York in the Poughkeepsie area, but spent a lot of time in the city and moved out to the West Coast in '06, and definitely been a different experience out here. Now I'm even far northwest up in or I don't know, northeast, I guess you could call it, Spokane, which is completely different from Portland. I mean, only 5 hours away, but we're talking way different.
Yeah, so Spokane. I mean, if you're in the boonies of Washington, that's probably Republican.
Oh yeah, it's a mix out here. Well, I mean, it's a blue state supposedly, Washington, right? But the farther north you go towards Idaho, you're going to run into the Republican.
It's a blue state because of Seattle, because of the cities.
Right.
But no, it's actually very. If you've ever seen a real map, you can look at the state map. But if you look at the map, of the actual, I don't know how they measure it, but yeah, it's all this. You'll see like small dots of red, but that's where all the people live. But it's just like all the cities. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been interesting being up here. There's been, like anywhere else, there's overt. I don't want to say the word racism, but there's overt feelings towards people of my color, and then there's not. And so, I experienced the same thing in New York as well. So it's just been an interesting experience being up here and during a pandemic, and thinking ways of keeping myself busy and creative, especially coming from a creative background. There's not many films and TV shows being filmed here, so it's a lot of DIY creativity. So I'm enjoying it. It's pushing me to do things that normally wouldn't think to do. So make the best of it, the situation.
Well, there you go. And that's what I didn't like Seattle. I still don't really like Seattle. So that's what for me coming here. What about what?
What about Los Angeles? Have you spent any time there in LA?
I have spent zero time in LA. It's actually the only big city in America that I haven't been to. But now at least one guy bought 2 Rompers from there. And he told me he had an extra place because his girlfriend moved in after the pandemic, and he was like, dude, come by, and I was like, 100%. There's another guy in LA that was like, he knows he's in the event. He throws events, and then he's friends with a couple rappers, a couple people, and he's like, dude, come through. We'll get the Rompers popping. I was like, I don't think Black people, but we'll see. If I would be surprised if I've not met that, but who knows, with a little peer pressure, and if they see me in it having a good time, maybe we'll change the culture, but we'll see.
Yeah. My best experiences would be the year that I spent in Los Angeles, just in terms of networking and the collective attitude of a bunch of artists all trying to support each other, mostly trying to support each other. Obviously, when it's inundated with artists, you're going to run into certain issues, but that was
What'd you do?
I went down there. I had a short film that was in a horror film festival, and then it got into another bigger one, like at the Chinese Theater. And while I was down there, I ended up producing a Western, and then I ended up working for Hulu for a little bit as well. So that experience was something that I'll always remember, and so comforting being around other creatives and other people of color that were trying to do the same thing. But you find your communities out there, and the networking alone is how I got the spot at Hulu. It's how I got the other opportunities, just by kind of networking and meeting people. And it's definitely a networking city. So yeah, if you go down there, I would definitely recommend checking it out, because it's like no other place in the world. And that's cliche, but I actually experienced it and learned a lot there.
It sounds good, but well, again, what was the reason you left in that? Is it personal reason? I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but
Well, I mean, it's kind of personal, but I don't mind sharing it. I've shared it before. I was in Portland, had just gotten divorced, had just recently had come out, and one of my friends had passed away. But simultaneously, I was directing a horror film, and that horror film got into a bigger festival down there, and then simultaneously, while we were there, got into the Chinese theater Holly Shorts festival, and I was not happy at the startup job I was at. Was not in Portland at the time, and then viewed that as an opportunity to kind of see what I was made of. I mean, Hollywood was always kind of the dream, right? So I did that for a year and a half, and it was one of the best experiences ever. Just the people I met, the opportunities, just working in tech now. I mean, I work for a large tech company now, and I wouldn't have been able to have that experience had I not had the experience at Hulu and the things I learned there. So definitely kept stepping into opportunities. Just with the people I met. I mean, it was such a positive place for me at that time. When my children I always joke with them when they're in college. I always told them, as soon as you guys are in college, I'm heading back to Los Angeles.
Okay. So you got kids somewhere. Is that the main reason? Like you got kids somewhere, so you wanted to move and spend time. Yeah. Okay.
The kids are up here and towards northern Idaho area, so wanted to move here to be closer to them, support their mom, support their grandmother. So that's why we're here doing the thing and making the best out of the situation.
I'm gonna walk outside and walk around because the sun's out. You don't mind?
No, I don't mind at all.
We'll continue.
Yeah.
Also, I want to let homegirl, clean up her little her place.
Sure.
Thank you. No, it's wonderful weather out. I want to check out this.
Full advantage.
So, yeah, pull out this. It's not often the sun is out in Seattle. I'll probably sit right outside the store. To be honest, right outside.
Yeah, it's nice there. What part of Seattle are you in right now?
I'm not in Seattle. I'm in like Renton, which is very south.
Yeah,
very south. But yeah, no, I'm. It will be very interesting. The future is bright, and also, it reminds me because your story about LA is very similar to my story about Russia. I lived there for 1 year, and I only can say good things about Russia. I know a lot of people can say some bad things at this point. Right. But as far as that's the government stuff, and that's like what they're doing. But as far as the actual country and living there, I traveled around. I'm mainly in Moscow, but I traveled around. Nothing but good things to say. I loved Russia. I was the king in Russia. Yeah. I was approaching something like I have now here. I mean, wasn't viral, but I was in touch with. Well, okay, I'm not even in touch. I was probably even in a better spot there than I was here. To be honest, even right now, I was in touch with many influencers. I was teaching dance at the time. So many people were interested in the class. So many girls were interested in the class. I had popped off a couple times in a couple public venues. I had like a couple hundred people watching, and it was just figuring out how to put it all together. But in the end, over there, I wasn't able to put it all together because I didn't have the skill set to remain consistent in what I was doing. Right. So I really needed a routine. You really need to wake up in the morning, do things throughout the day that will, contribute to the future. And I would get so sucked in these different moments and then miss the bigger picture and then get depressed about it. And it was just this whole cycle. So I had to leave. Yeah. But so it's very interesting. I will end up back there someday. But it was now that I'm in this situation again, it's very interesting to kind of see my mind going in that same direction. I'm like, no, we have the skill set. Let's keep it going. So I think let's say something. My parents, they're very religious, but they would say, God will only you'll have to relive things until you learn the lesson, something like that. You got to go through the same situation multiple times until you learn what you're supposed to learn from it. So here
Yeah.
I am again in a situation, a creative situation where it can go one way or the other, and it's we gotta do something. So LA's on the map.
Awesome.
I don't know what I would do there, but that's probably the fun, I guess. Because I think the big business thing isn't in the product, isn't in the rompers. I think the biggest thing, I don't think it's there.
Right.
Probably in something to do with personality, whether it's, whether I'm hosting stuff or
I could definitely see. Yeah, I was definitely going to say
on the YouTube,
hosting, podcasting, like marketing tie-ins to ham and pineapple brands. I mean, there's like
I got the ham and pineapple. I got the first design ready. It's okay. I don't really know what I want to do with it. That's like there's a couple areas, especially graphic design, where it's like, it's just, especially with me, and I know when something's not quite right, but you don't know what needs to happen to make it better.
Exactly.
So it's a weird spot. But it started. The ham and pineapple thing started. I actually started a conversation with this one food brand.
There you go.
I'm trying. I want them to.
You're doing it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I need them to make a ham and pineapple dish, though. I need them to make that. They can't.
That's a good combination. And the other thing I really enjoyed the most about TikTok, especially more than any other social media platform, is the willingness for most people to want to collaborate, especially just like you have a way bigger following than me. I have other friends that have way bigger followings, but they like what I have to say, what I want to do with my podcast, and are willing to give me interviews. Some of those folks, have managers and agents that they could easily refer you to. And I will tell you right now, LA is a networking referral town. And it's not always because people are hoping to get something overtly back. It's mostly because people have, can relate to having had started somewhere. And when you can relate to having had start somewhere, and you'll always remember that first person that gave you your first break. For me, it was my screenwriting teacher, Roseanne Ehrlich, who was a secretary for an executive at Paramount. She gave me my first break, and I was pitching at Paramount for screenplays without an agent right outside of college. That was like my first experience in LA, was going there. I had no idea. I thought I was the hottest shit in the world getting this opportunity, and I had to learn through, years of being humbled that, you got to be able to help people. You got to be willing to help folks out, but also be balanced and help yourself out as well. So LA is definitely the place for that. And I'm sure that with all the contacts you have, and, other TikTokers, other social media influencers that have managers, you're definitely onto something very close. So I can't wait to see what's next for you.
We're into something. I definitely think I'm at the place where because I had a guy reach out to me, and he was like, we should make a movie. And I was like, then he was talking about selling my life rights.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. And I don't know if I should. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I should be selling them. I don't know if I should be selling them for a lot of money or a little bit of money. I don't know if I should be giving them to him and then letting him run with it and then getting money later. I don't know what the fuck. So I'm like, man, I probably need a professional at this point to start to out, because I don't know that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I could start managing. I am managing myself at this point, but I probably should start. I don't even know where to start with. I'm sure there's some agencies, but after that conversation today, that was like at 3:00. It's almost 6:00.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that conversation today, I was like, okay. Yeah, I don't know what this is. So I should have somebody that's that's a professional that can at least if I get fucked, then I maybe, can say I tried my best.
Yeah, they I have contact at one of the biggest UTA, United Talent Agency, one of the biggest agencies.
Yeah, I know that.
is one of my contacts to a friend. And every once in a while, when I get into a pinch, I'll reach out. He'll call me. He'll give me the 5 minutes. He'll tell me exactly what he thinks. He'll be honest. He doesn't have time to like overtly help, and drop the pin that way. But he's always there to talk and always there to like push me in the right direction. And yeah, your story would make an interesting book, especially since we don't know the end yet. Interesting movie.
Oh yeah.
So hold on to those rights for now and get yourself a manager that's gonna run with the influencer potential now.
Oh, so life rights, what is that, like to everything? Like, what does that even mean? Does that mean I can't, like, if I give away my life rights, does that mean like I can't do any?
I mean, it depends on.
That's a big question, man.
Yeah, if that was a producer that called, he was probably asking for, rights to your bio. So I'd be careful with that, depending on who they are. I mean, if it's a well-known producer, I think right now with just my personal opinion, with the amount of influence pool that you have right now with TikTok, reach out to someone that you really, admire on TikTok that has a manager and see what they can do as far as a referral. And if LA is an opportunity and you have contacts out there, I would definitely.
So at the risk of sounding, ignorant, because this is a very ignorant thing, because I know people try for a long time, and I did, and I had no followers. So I don't really know what I literally went from one day having 0 followers, and then another day I had 100,000. There was no in the middle. So I have no context.
Right.
Like I know 100,000 followers on YouTube is a lot, and you're making money. I know 100,000 on Instagram is a lot. That's a fuck ton. Yeah. I don't know what that means on TikTok. I feel like everyone, it's not true, but I feel like there's a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people have crazy followings on TikTok. So when people are like, oh, you're TikTok this, TikTok that, I'm like, I mean, yeah, and me and like a million other people. So the question is, I think the answer is yes, but I mean, is this number, 140,000, 150,000, is that actually anything? Does that mean something to you? I don't know. So
for TikTok, I do know that TikTok, in terms of monetary turnaround, is the lowest paying format right now. So I do know that the higher followers you have on TikTok and the way you can integrate that with YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok is a great leverage point for that. That's as far as I know. It's the lowest monetary turnaround, but you can definitely leverage TikTok with your lives and with your content to branch out to YouTube and the other platforms that you can monetize and have you pay more. That's where a manager and, the consistency that you were talking about, consistently putting out, that's when people really can rely on it and they'll keep coming back. So the lives are definitely going to do that. You can drop your Cash App, Venmo in there, your Patreon, and people will definitely start, they'll be paying for content, getting something back for your content. So you're a step ahead of them than most folks on that, for sure. Okay. Yeah. I do remember, and I know I was literally 3 weeks ago when I was like, I have no direction. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to keep making rompers and keep dancing around. There you go. And then, but then we're like here now, and we're like, now we're at the same spot, but now we have 150,000 followers. Yeah. So it's like, when I say nothing's changed, it's like that's why it still feels like nothing's changed, because I'm like, there's no 100%. I don't know. I didn't get famous. I didn't get a lot of followers doing a thing. I got a lot of followers because of the situation, and I guess people haven't been unfollowing necessarily, but no. I got all of these followers through a context, and I was hoping that shit would just keep going for another fucking month. That was annoying that it stopped. I was like, God damn it, y'all ruining it. But the people, go ahead. I would say the people are still there. They're still wanting to see, the journey is captivated, and I'm because I mean, there's been a 2 million extra views since I released the since like everything ended. There's been 2 million or 3 million extra views on the video. So people are still like
coming into my lives like, dude, what's going on? Are you at the office? Are you still work there? And it's like, dude, shit ended like so long ago. I'm in a whole different universe now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Whole
Yeah.
different, we're in like a whole, we're like, I'm looking at new places to home from work at. I'm looking at, which I think I figured something out.
Awesome.
We're looking at new, we're looking at, it's just a whole different situation. So it's kind of, it's great. It's interesting to have like, there's like different waves of people following, specifically the TikTok. Not really all the other platforms. Like, I think I got a big, everything else is slowed down. And then now it's just, TikTok's just like on a steady, just like keeps going.
Yeah, definitely keep those people engaged on the story.
So that might be the be all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm certainly here for it. I'm certainly going to keep in communications with you. Where can people find where to buy your rompers? Where can people find you on social media? Where can we support you?
Yeah, the main places, I haven't set up any, I mean, I have a Cash App, but the main place I would just say, go to my TikTok. And my TikTok and Instagram are the same. Calm, CALM .Simon. Calm Simon on both. And then I do have a YouTube, which is, you search Calm Simon, CALM Simon, you'll find me on there as well. I have the Romper website is in the links on everywhere, but it's wepeacock.com, WEPEACOCK.com. And we have the spring sale, not a sale, but really I want to sell bulk, but I can't because it's expensive. So the price of rompers are normally like $150, really because I have to make them myself or I have to get them from a supplier, and that's just how much it costs. But if I get up to 30, then I can go to the supplier and it can be a lot cheaper. So I have that up right now. They're like $50 pre-sale. And first romper to get to 30. Well, I guess I'll order all of them anyway. But as soon as one of those gets to 30, I'm ordering all of them, and then we're gonna get to work. So
awesome,
super exciting. Future is exciting.
Yeah, well, I can definitely without saying, it goes without saying, excuse me, that everyone I'm sure listening and me and myself wish you the very best. I'm definitely going to keep in contact with you and keep an eye on the journey, and I'll do the same. I'll let you know where I'm at with the podcast. And
yeah, man. Thanks for reaching out, because it's the first podcast. This is the first podcast I'm doing. Awesome. First long form thing that is actually getting posted anywhere. So thanks for reaching out.
I think at the end of the day, people have forgotten that conversation is key to anything. And if you can sit down and have a conversation, you can learn a lot from people.
You get through a lot of stuff. You get to 99%. The little by homing from work hashtag, that little thing. It was after everything. It was after that viral video, and I just called my sister that night, and I was on the phone with my two sisters for like 2 or 3 hours. And at the end of the conversation, I don't know, I was like, I'm working from home. No, I'm home. And I just said it. We laughed for like 5 minutes. It was like, this is the most stupid, funny thing ever. But we only came up to that after like 3 hours of conversation and bullshitting. And then we got somewhere. So conversations are everything. And people are like, oh, I'm surprised you still talk to, they're saying weird things. And I'm like, I mean, first of all, nothing's changed. Like I said, nothing's changed. But then the only reason I'm anywhere anyway is because of talking to people. So, and having relationships with people.
Exactly. I agree.
I don't believe in, there's some level where you could say you're self-made. There's some level where you can say stuff like that, but in a more real level, like there's no self-made person in the world. You had a conversation with one guy that got you, to this thing, and then you heard this snippet, and then you remembered one thing your mom said, and then and then your ex said some shit, and then, and then you're somewhere completely different. It's like, yeah, you call it self-made because you did work, but it's not, there's no true, with all the human interactions, there's no true self-made stuff. So I think stuff like this is how stuff gets done and how people move forward. So
awesome.
we'll definitely stay in contact.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna go ahead and
Let's get
stop
to
this
it,
record. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this recording now.
for sure.
Let's see.